Interpreter is Philip Omondi. Let's begin. Now, in the face of growing attacks on the media during recent protests, the Kenya Editors Guild says a planned 7-day strike will continue and that media practitioners will resort to the streets if the situation is not arrested. As KTN News editor Francis Ontomwa now reports, several journalists have paid a heavy price in the line of duty while state organs remain silent on the issue.
This week on Tuesday, Nakuru's Catherine Wanjeri, a journalist for Kameme TV and K24, was shot 3 times in her thigh while covering the protests in Nakuru. Catherine is currently undergoing treatment at Nakuru PGH Annex Hospital and has allowed us to speak to her from a hospital bed.
I left my house thinking that I'm going to cover protests and go back home. Little did I know that I will end up in a hospital with stitches on my thigh. I don't know how long it's going to take me to recover. I might try my level best, and I don't know what kind of damage those scars are going to do to me. I know the administration and the county commander of this county knows who we had given that bullet.
On Wednesday, the abduction of veteran journalist Macharia Gaidho sent shockwaves through the media fraternity. The abduction was swift and rough. The detectives later claimed it was a case of mistaken identity.
It is extremely traumatizing because when you are abducted by unknown people who do not identify themselves, when I asked them to identify themselves or who they are, their response was that they have a Subaru, therefore I should know they are policemen, and that they have guns, therefore I should know they are policemen.
It's hard to dissociate his work from this intimidation. Gaidho has been a top critic of the government of the day through his cutting-edge articles on the local dailies. As attacks on the media grow, some analysts like George Nyabuga, a professor of media studies at the Aga Khan University, Nairobi, and a former editor, see a media space that keeps shrinking.
I think the space is shrinking, given what it is that we are seeing. There's a lot of pressure on media. There's a lot of pressure on journalists, perhaps, to go slow on critical reporting of what is currently going on. I think the political leadership is keen on ensuring that whatever pictures, whatever stories that are emerging from these protests are not widely consumed by people around the world.
The recent protests have seen several journalists injured. Standard Group's videographer Justus Macharia was assaulted when an officer claimed he was filming him. He was dragged into a police car and then dropped dangerously.
Inasikitisha sana kwamba kama wanahabari hatuna amani tena. Taifa linatutegemea sisi kupata habari, kufahamishwa, na tuna haki ya access to information.
Other journalists who have suffered injuries include CNN videographer Fabian Muhire, who was sprayed with tear gas, and AFP's Colin Solunga was injured on his arm.
The media shouldn't shy away from covering issues of public interest, being critical of government, being critical of individuals that they think have let people down and have let society down.
Journalists covering an opposition briefing were yesterday attacked and bundled out of the meeting by a group of goons. Threats to Occupy Citizen TV are the latest intimidation tactics, putting Kenyan journalists at risk as they strive to keep the nation informed during the unrest. In a statement, the Kenya Editors Guild has demanded that the government offers protection of the media houses, and specifically for the media house being targeted. Reporters Without Borders ranks Kenya at position 102 out of 180 in the World Press Freedom Index report. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News, Nairobi.
And on the same